Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on the secret codes that make advertisements tick. We're diving deep into the science of persuasion, the pretty surprising role of pride, and what happens when AI, artificial intelligence, starts writing the ads. Let's get into it.
Think about it. It's a question that's been bugging marketers and psychologists for ages. You see thousands of ads, right? But how many of them actually stick with you, or better yet, actually make you do something? What's the secret sauce?
Well, to get to the bottom of this, we're going to follow the work of Chung Yoon. She's on a mission to decode the deep psychological triggers that make advertising work, not just for selling you stuff, but for nudging us all toward positive changes. So where does a journey like this even begin? Well, her path wasn't a straight shot into advertising, and honestly, that's what makes her perspective so powerful. It all started with economics at Emory, where she got into the nitty-gritty of why we buy what we buy. Then, a master's in communication from Yonsei added a whole new layer, how media shapes our world. Now, her PhD at UT Austin is where it all comes together, blending the what of our choices with the how of persuasion. And that right there is the key. Her background lets her connect two really essential pieces of the puzzle. You've got economics, which explains what choices we make, and you've got communication, which explains how messages can influence those choices. It's this unique mix that really sets the stage for her incredible work. Which brings us to her first huge area of research. It's an emotion we all know, but it turns out it has two very, very different faces. I'm talking about pride, and it can be a secret weapon when it comes to persuasion. So first up, you've got authentic pride. This is that amazing feeling you get after you've really put in the work. You crush a tough exam, you finish a marathon, or you build something cool with your own two hands. You earned it. It's a pride that's all about action.
But then, on the flip side, there's hubristic pride. This one isn't about what you've done, it's about who you think you are. It's that feeling of being on top because of some trait you think you were born with, like being a natural at something. This pride is all about status.
Okay, let's just lay it out side by side. Authentic pride comes from effort. It makes you feel like, I earned this, and it gets you motivated to do even more. Hubristic pride, that comes from feeling like you're just naturally better. The feeling is, I am the best, and it's all about keeping that top spot. Totally different drivers.
Now this is where it gets really smart. Yun connects these two kinds of pride directly to health ads. She's asking, what actually gets us to be healthy? Is it some inner goal, like that personal satisfaction of feeling strong? Or is it something external, like the pressure from society to look a certain way? The best ads, they know exactly which button to push.
So why does this matter? Well, this isn't just theory. This has real-world impact. When you know which type of pride to trigger, you can create PSAs that actually work and change behavior. It pulls back the curtain on the deliberate emotional engineering that's happening in the ads you see every single day.
Okay, so we get how human emotions can be used to persuade us. But here's a massive twist. What happens when the message wasn't written by some clever copywriter in a fancy office, but by an algorithm? And that question launches us into the second, and maybe even more mind-bending part of her research, the rise of the persuasive machine and this new competition between human and AI creativity. So to wrap our heads around this, we need one more idea. It's called processing fluency. Just think of it like mental friction. When a message is super clear, simple, and easy to get, it has high fluency. Our brain just gets it, no friction. But when it's complicated or confusing, that's low fluency, and our brain has to work way harder.
And right here, this is the million-dollar question that's driving her work. Since an AI can crunch insane amounts of data to create these perfectly smooth, high-fluency messages, could it actually become more persuasive than a human? A human who might be a little messy, a bit more complex, but also more human.
So how in the world do you test something like that? It's actually a really cool systematic process. First, you create a bunch of different ads, some by people, some by AI, each one targeting different things. Then, you run online experiments where you show these ads to real people. And finally, you analyze all the data, and I mean everything, every click, every second they spend on the page, to see what really truly worked. So you have these two massive streams of research, the deep psychology of pride and the raw persuasive power of AI. The really exciting part is where this all goes next. We're talking about advertising's next frontier. The potential uses for this are just huge. Imagine using this to create super effective campaigns for big environmental causes. And think about the challenge of actually designing AI that can understand and use these tricky emotional strategies.
Her work is basically creating a roadmap for that future.
But in the end, after all the science and data, it really comes back to a very human goal. As she puts it herself, the whole point is to help create strategies that make a real, positive difference in people's lives. It's about using the power of persuasion for good.
And that leaves us with one final and pretty crucial question to chew on. As AI writes more and more of our world, from ads to news articles, who is going to be the one to teach it what it actually means to be human? That's the challenge that lies ahead.